What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video we are going to be continuing on with our macOS development with AppKit tutorial series, and in this particular tutorial we are going to be taking a look at how we can remove entire items from the menu bar in macOS. Now this is kind of complicated depending on how exactly you want to do this, but the example we're going to use today is we're going to be able to remove the help menu or the help item from the menu bar. So how then do we do that? Well, we can do this by first going into Xcode and opening up our app delegate file. Inside of app delegate, we're going to go into application did finish launching. This method, as the name suggests, will be run whenever the application is finished launching. And this is the proper time for us to be able to modify the menu bar by removing items we don't need, stuff like that. So in order to remove the help item, there are two different ways that we can do it. We can do it by using array methods to retrieve and remove the menu item, the menu item from the menu bar by some kind of predicate, or we can use an index. So what its position is in the menu bar. Okay, so I'm going to show you both ways. First, I'm going to show you the one where we use a predicate. Then I'll show you the one where we use an index. One thing to keep in mind, though, about the first way that we're going to do this is that because the strings aren't localized in this particular context here, if your users are using a different language, then the strings aren't going to match, and that menu item that you're trying to remove won't be removed in certain languages, and it's a bit of a mess. So if you want to release your app outside of your region, and make it available for people who don't speak your language, an index would be using the index positioning for the menu item would be your better bet. All right. So what we are going to do is we're going to first create a constant, and this is going to be called help item. So let help item equals nsapp dot main menu dot items dot first and then inside of this method, the first method that returns an optional, in this case, instance of ns menu item, and it takes in the current item being iterated over in the array. We're going to have to safely unwrap this later, because again, this returns an optional, and of course we need to make sure that is not nil before we work with it. We'll say return inside of the closure item.title is equal to help. Just like that. You could also add additional conditions to this. So if you wanted to remove help, format, and text items at the same time, you could add logical ORs to this statement, and it would find the first item that would meet that predicate, but For that, you may want to use a for loop instead. Or, or adapt it to where you're calling this multiple times in some capacity. All right. Now that we have our help item, we need to unwrap this, and we'll do this with an if let. So if let help item equals help item, and inside of this block, we know that help item is not nil. So we can work with it, by saying nsapp dot main menu dot remove item, and we'll say help item, like that. We want to add a question mark there, so we're using optional chaining, and Xcode will no longer yell at us. Now, let's go ahead and run the app. And here we go. Let's go into the menu bar. And you can see help is no longer here because we've removed that menu item. But what about an index? How do we remove something by its index rather than its title? Well, to do this, it's as simple. Well, there are two ways you could do this, really. There are ways to get the index of a specific item based on its predicate, or based on some kind of predicate, but that has the same problem as the way that we just showed before, where we are getting the specific NS menu item from the items array of the menu by its title. The title won't be localized. So you could do it that way. Another way you could do it is you could manually count the index positions and do it that way. Now, the help item is at index number 6. So we can reference this by saying nsapp dot main menu dot remove item at 6. Now why are we doing? Now why is it the 6th index? Well, it's because file is index 0 and help is the 7th menu item in the menu bar. So much like with every other collection, indexes start counting up at 0 and go up from there, rather than 1. So now we can save the code and run our application. And so with that, we can again go into our menu bar, and help is gone again because the index 6 targets that help menu or the help item and it removes it. Our color items still work exactly how we intend them to. Just we don't have the help menu, or rather help item anymore in the menu bar. So that pretty much does it for this video on how we can remove entire items from the menu bar. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.